Have you ever found yourself frantically running through an endless maze where every turn just leads to more confusion, with no exit in sight? Imagine this maze not as a physical entity, but as a complex and invisible web, woven by the countless stories of your past. Shockingly, many of us are trapped in this maze without even realizing it, held back by chains forged from our own experiences, encounters, and even by the deepest emotions we've ever felt. Consider for a moment that sunny afternoon when you, as a child, shared laughter and dreams under the shade of an ancient tree. That moment of pure joy left a bright mark on you, teaching you the value of friendship and connection. Or think about that time when you weathered a storm alone, be it a painful loss or a challenge that seemed impossible to overcome. That too is a part of your story, perhaps filled with shadows, but crucial in shaping who you are today. Our personal narrative is incredibly rich, detailed, and emotional, storing not just vivid memories of significant events, but also harboring deep-seated beliefs, hidden fears, and silent hopes that together shape how we view the world around us and what we expect from the future. Yet, it is precisely in this meeting of past and present that we often find the invisible barriers that limit our path. These aren't just imaginary walls, but real restrictions that prevent us from reaching our true potential, from living the full and authentic life we deserve. But what really causes this blockage in our future? And more crucially, how can we break these unseen chains and free ourselves? Imagine, for example, that from a young age you were taught that success is the result of long hours of hard work and personal sacrifice. This belief, while it may hold some truth for many, can also become a barrier, limiting your ability to see opportunities that require less sacrifice and more creativity. Or perhaps, after having your heart broken by what you thought was your perfect match for life, you built walls around your heart, swearing never to be vulnerable again. This vow, while understandable, might be preventing you from forming deep and meaningful connections now. From the earliest moments of our existence, and even before that, through the hereditary influences of our ancestors, we begin to collect experiences that shape who we are. The early experiences of our life, from the affection we received from our parents to interactions with our siblings and friends, are fundamental in developing our worldview. Have you ever learned to read signs of affection and warmth, to tell safe situations from risky ones, and to grasp what it means to be embraced or pushed away by your social circle? Like getting a big hug from someone you love teaches us about love and support, while getting called out for a mistake teaches us about consequences and the need to make things right. These early lessons kind of settle into our minds, shaping not just how we see the world around us, but also how we act in it. The choices we make as grown-ups, like what job to chase or who to be with, are often swayed by these first impressions and lessons. For instance, if you were always cheered on to explore and be curious, you might grow up into someone who's all about tackling challenges and soaking up new experiences. On the flip side, if you were always warned about the world's dangers, you might end up being more cautious or slow to dive into new stuff. But it's key to realize that some of these lessons can also box us in. Sayings from childhood like, "Don't trust people too easily," "Better not to stick out too much," or "The world's a scary place," might be meant to protect us. Yet they can also plant seeds of fear or hesitation that hold back our true selves and personal growth. These beliefs, though picked up initially for safety, can end up as unseen chains tying us down to ways of thinking and acting that don't really serve us well anymore. A perfect example could be seen in careers. Someone who grew up hearing they should always choose the safest path might skip career chances that, while riskier, could bring way more joy and personal fulfillment. Acknowledging and questioning these limiting beliefs is step one to getting past them. The great news is, once we spot these invisible walls and figure out where they come from, we've got the power to knock them down. And yes, that's for real. This journey involves a deep dive into self-reflection, and sometimes, through meditation practices and breathing techniques, we learn to let go of physical tensions that often stem from emotional blockages, uncovering areas in our lives that might need attention or therapy. This exploration allows us to reassess childhood lessons. By confronting our fears, challenging our limiting beliefs, and opening our hearts to forgiveness, both for ourselves and others, we unlock the path to a future of limitless possibilities. A future where we can live fully, authentically, and in complete alignment with our true selves. This process demands a moment of introspection, looking inward to understand our reactions and emotions. It's a brave act to delve into parts of our personality and life story we'd rather avoid or forget. Asking ourselves, why do I react emotionally to certain situations? Or, what fears or doubts stop me from embarking on new paths in life? Can lead to clearer insights into our actions and thoughts. Embracing these practices opens us up to deeper layers of our being, creating a safe space within to acknowledge, question, and eventually replace limiting beliefs with ones that align more with our current values and aspirations. For instance, someone who realizes through reflection and meditation that they fear failure and thus shies away from new experiences can specifically address this fear, questioning its roots and seeking ways to construct a new understanding of success and failure. This journey of introspection and self-help practices is a powerful path not just to understanding, but also to transforming how we live our lives, freeing ourselves from old patterns that no longer serve our well-being and personal growth. Forgiveness stands out as an essential tool in the journey to break free from the past's shackles. It involves deeply letting go of grudges, hurt, and any sense of injustice that binds us to previous events. Importantly, forgiving does not mean justifying or forgetting actions that caused us pain, nor the limiting beliefs we once accepted as true. True forgiveness occurs when we emotionally detach from these experiences, recognizing that holding on to these feelings only harms us. By forgiving others, we free ourselves from the negative load these grievances place on us. More profoundly, by forgiving ourselves for past choices and mistakes, we initiate an internal healing process, allowing us to move forward without the chains of self-judgment and guilt. An example is recognizing that, though we may have acted in ways that harmed ourselves or others in the past based on limiting beliefs, today we have the opportunity to choose differently, learning from our mistakes. Alongside forgiveness, gratitude for lived experiences, including the painful ones, is a powerful catalyst for personal transformation. When we look back and can be thankful for the hardships we've faced, we acknowledge how much they've contributed to our development and strengthening. For instance, a situation of failure that may have initially been devastating can, over time, be seen as a crucial learning moment that directed us towards new paths and possibilities. This shift in perspective, seeing challenges as growth opportunities, is key to transforming our personal narrative from a sequence of limiting events to a story of overcoming and evolution. Each surmounted obstacle then becomes a testament to our adaptability and thriving, shaping us into more resilient and conscious individuals. Thus, by practicing forgiveness and cultivating gratitude, we not only free ourselves from the past burdens, but also redefine our relationship with our personal history, viewing it not as a succession of barriers, but as a journey rich in learning and personal strengthening. This process empowers us to move forward in our journey with a renewed sense of freedom and purpose. Overcoming the past doesn't mean we just leave behind our previous experiences or deny their significance in our lives. Instead, it's about actively rebuilding our perception of ourselves and the world around us, shedding beliefs and emotions that limit us and prevent us from exploring our full potential. As we identify and let go of each limiting belief, we open ourselves up to a range of new possibilities, allowing fresh ideas, more meaningful dreams, and enriching opportunities to enter our lives. If someone grew up believing they don't deserve love or success, that belief might stop them from seeking healthy relationships or taking career risks. When that person questions and overcomes this limiting belief, new doors open. They might start valuing themselves more, putting themselves in situations they previously avoided, and attracting people and opportunities that align with their new state of awareness. Effective liberation involves 3 essential steps: questioning, forgiving, and being grateful. Questioning allows us to challenge the truths we've accepted without criticism, examining their origins and validity in our current lives. Forgiveness releases the emotional burden that ties us to past events, facilitating a healthy detachment from resentments that cloud our ability to move forward. Gratitude helps us see each experience, good or bad, as a valuable lesson, acknowledging the growth and strength we've gained by facing them. This not only frees us from the shadows of the past, but also lights our path toward a future filled with fulfillment and purpose. This is the essence of spiritual and emotional liberation, a metamorphosis that allows us not just to change the story we tell about ourselves, but to recreate the reality in which we live. This journey of internal transformation empowers us to live fuller, more connected, and intentional lives, paving the way for an existence where we are truly free to be who we choose to be, free from old limitations, and open to an infinity of possibilities. Our past stories have the power to shape our future, but only if we let them. By committing to the journey of self-discovery and transformation, we find that the keys to our liberation have always been in our hands. And so, step by step, with courage and compassion for ourselves, we can untie the knots that bind us to the past and walk freely toward a bright and limitless future. Set yourself free.